One of the things I love about Austin Shakespeare is that you don't have to be a Shakespeare expert. You don't have to know every piece of work to really enjoy the performances.
The productions are phenomenal. The casts that come together just seem to melt together beautifully. They seem to enjoy working with each other. They love what they're doing, and it shows, and the audience picks up on that.
The audiences for Austin Shakespeare are so varied and diverse. All kinds of people who come to Shakespeare for all kinds of reasons and get that personal takeaway from it that, again, really makes it something special.
There's a spirit of community and of accessibility and of welcoming in people who have a great deal of experience, oftentimes professional experience, but you'll get to work right beside someone who has had far less experience. And that's a wonderful thing that this theater company offers this community.
You know, there's just an amazing team that's behind it that you don't really see all the time. You get to see the actors on stage, but then there's as many people behind who are helping design the thing. And I was kind of surprised myself when I came into Austin Shakespeare to see just how huge of community is there and how many people are pulling the weight of the show behind them.
One of the things that's particularly important, and I think particularly generous about Austin Shakespeare, is the way in which they frame the productions, allowing talkbacks with the cast, allowing us to see how it is that people come to choose their roles, how they come to imagine the roles as they are, and we get an extraordinary kind of behind-the-scenes impression of what this ensemble of human beings over the years and in any given production is able to accomplish and how they work together dynamically.
Well, as a parent, it was quite exciting to see my son kind of grow up in Austin Shakespeare. So witnessing him doing these kind of things, gaining his confidence, not just in his speaking ability, but in learning the language, the diction, the vocabulary, right? All these kind of things are very essential. And I think not many people get to experience these kind of things.
It kind of makes you come alive when you perform at the Curtain Theater. Being able to project is a really important thing in the theater because there's no way for the sound to bounce off the walls. So you have to be a lot more focused on how loud you are and your diction as well, since it's a whole new language basically.
The Curtain Theater is so exciting. It's just magical. And being able to have the advantage of moving on a stage and doing a show on a stage that is very similar to what Shakespeare and his cohorts originally did. What a great experience for the kids.
The work with the young people is incredible, exposing them to Shakespeare and again, other classics. And just learning, you know, stage presence and stage combat and all those things. A lot of improvisation, many, many skills that young actors really need.
A lot of people think of Shakespeare as oldie and moldy in the tights and doublets and all that, but they really do take the performances into different time periods and into different contexts, which makes it very approachable for the layman, for someone who is not a theater person or someone who loves theater. There's always an interesting approach. Top-notch actors, folks from all over the country who really believe that Shakespeare in education is the way to move forward, and definitely approaching that to the community. So being able to spread the good word of the Bard is always important, I think, because it's literature that lasts forever.
Austin Shakespeare is unique because of the community. You know, people who really love Shakespeare as a storyteller, as someone who just brings language to life. And I think that does separate it from many of the other programs in town.
If there were no Austin Shakespeare, there wouldn't be Shakespeare in the Park in the summer. And there wouldn't be young Shakespeare.
I think Shakespeare is a super important part of our history, not only because he made so many things, but also just because it's a big part of theater. It's like where theater started, and so It's a really big part of the cultural environment in order to be able to see Shakespeare and perform Shakespeare. Without Austin Shakespeare, we wouldn't get to immerse ourselves in the past.
To have that language, to have those characters, to have that action available to everybody in Austin is very special, and that would be missed.
If we had additional funding, I think it would be wonderful and more inclusive of folks who would be able to attend the productions. Sometimes money is an issue, even with student tickets. It would be wonderful to be able to extend, the theater to folks who may not otherwise be able to come.
I love this theater company, and it has given me and my family so much, and I'm grateful to have it here.
What I think when I think of what would Austin lack, I would say it would lack the kind of prestige that one expects of a great city, that you will find access to the great arts and the great traditions in the arts, maybe not in the scope and frequency of London, because we're a little smaller than London, but it's the prestige and the access to that great theatrical tradition. No one else in Austin does that the way Austin Shakespeare does.